When you first register a new account, the phone service is not enabled by default. So I'll walk you through the steps to configure the phone service. To use the phone service with Captasoft CRM, all you need is a microphone or a USB headset, and we recommend using the Firefox or Chrome browser. So to turn on the phone service, the first thing we have to do is turn on outbound dialing. So to do that, we go down here to the account section, then to organization info, then we go over to settings, and lastly communication. Now the first thing we have to do to enable outbound dialing is we have to set up a caller ID. This is going to be the phone number that your clients will see when you're calling from the system. So this needs to be a phone number that you use or that you want to get calls back to. So we put in that number here, and what will happen is after you put the number in, we're going to click the Call Me button, and it's going to call the phone number, and it's going to give you a 6-digit validation code. So you put in that validation code, and then that's going to authenticate your phone number to be used as the caller ID for the system. Later, when we get into inbound dialing, where you can purchase numbers, you can use that as your caller ID instead of your cell phone number. But to begin, we have to put in a phone number that you have possession to. So we'll go through the steps here to turn this on. I'm going to hit call. Oops, I got an error here. 442-243. Oh, I got to put in a friendly label. So my cell. So I'll go ahead and hit call. And you see down here, this is going to give us the verification. Here's the verification code I have to input. So I'm going to let the system call me. I'm going to put in the verification code here, and then I'll be right back. Okay, the system has called me, and I put in my verification code. I validated my caller ID, and now the screen changed. And now I have this little on-off button right here where I can use the phone service. So I go ahead and click on. And now the last step I have to do is simply log off and log back on. So I'm going to pause the video, I'm going to log out, and I'm going to log back in, and I'll restart up the video. So you log out right here. Log out. Okay, I've logged back in. Now notice a few changes have taken place. We have this green phone icon, and then we also have this extra dial menu option over here. If I click this phone dialer, it pops up a little dial, and I can key in any number and I can call outbound right now. And notice the caller ID that's going to be used are the ones that we just went through those steps for to put that in. So I can click over here to minimize. Now if we go into any of our records, you'll notice the phone numbers have been turned into click-to-call links. So for this record here for Randy Dunbar, I can go ahead and click on that phone icon, or I'm sorry, the label. And that's going to bring up our dialer again, and it's going to input the phone number that we're calling in there. Again, here's our caller ID. If you set up multiple caller IDs, you'll have the choice to choose from those. And later in another video, when we set up inbound dialing where you can purchase phone numbers, those numbers will show up in here as well if you want to use that as your caller ID. So if I click this call button right now, it's going to go ahead and place that call. So that is how we configure the steps for outbound dialing. In another video, I'll go through the steps to configure inbound dialing.